Eddyville. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Coffee Talk. And yep, it is Wednesday. It's a beautiful Wednesday for that matter. And we're going to talk to weather forecaster Dave Powell this morning about this beautiful weather. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Misty. How are you?
I am doing well. I love to see the sun shining.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a good thing right now. Tomorrow it would not be a good thing because we have a chance for severe weather, and any sunshine we get's only going to make that situation much, much worse. So we'll talk about today. Actually, today will be a pretty decent day, mostly sunny, but a little warm for my taste, high around 86. And the winds, of course, will start picking up because we have a system approaching, and so by tonight, we'll start seeing a chance of showers creep into the forecast, and probably before daylight tomorrow morning, we'll start seeing ongoing showers and thunderstorms. And let's hope that's the case, because if we have clouds and rain, then that's going to serve to diminish the severe threat tomorrow afternoon. And that's where our primary concern is, because we've got a strong cold front coming in. And, of course, anytime you get warm temperatures ahead of that and the sunny skies, it's a recipe for some serious, severe outbreaks. Right now, it looks like the severe risk is more to our south, and we are in a marginal risk. So that does not mean we're completely out of the woods. It just means that maybe one or two storms may become strong to severe, as opposed to 3 or 4 storms become strong to severe. So, you know, it's kind of like splitting hairs, but right now, that's the best guess, and of course, the reason, again, is because the ongoing showers and maybe a few thunderstorms in the morning and doesn't allow the atmosphere to become too unstable. But we'll have to see, you know, if that comes on through and gets on out and the sun pops out tomorrow afternoon, then our severe risk will go up considerably. Again, let's hope that doesn't happen. This is one time when you hope there are clouds tomorrow and no sunshine. So, anyway, it's one of those things. I think that by tomorrow evening, that cold front will come on through here, and that would be our greatest risk for severe weather, is somewhere late evening, early to late evening tomorrow evening. And then once that gets through, much cooler air is going to spill into the region for Friday. I think Friday probably our highs will only be in the upper 60s, so it's going to be significantly cooler. And then, you know, it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of clearing. Unfortunately, Saturday is not looking great right now with mostly cloudy skies. We may get through most of the first half of the day anyway, dry, but there is a 40% chance of showers that day. And then by Saturday night, look out, showers are going to become likely. Not as worried about any thunderstorms as we are on Thursday, because it's going to be much cooler. And, you know, unfortunately, it looks like Mother's Day is not going to be too pleasant. Looks like mostly cloudy skies, and a chance of showers may clear off in the afternoon. That's something we'll just have to watch and hope that everybody has a great Mother's Day, regardless of the weather.
Yeah, you know, we'll come back to that in just a second. I do want to ask you one thing. I saw that the high for you mentioned something about it being warm and then it's going to be cold, got a cold front coming through. The high today was supposed to be like around 86, I believe.
Yep.
What is that normal for this time of the year, or is it a little bit warmer?
Well, that's a little warmer than normal. It's not unusual, though, because we are approaching the summertime season. And, of course, the first day of summer is actually on June 21st, which is also the longest day of the year. And I think that we're building up to that right now. And as we go a little further, we'll continue to get warmer and warmer. This is going to be called locust winter, by the way. It's because the locust trees are in bloom, so they call it locust winter. And then as we get into the latter parts of the month, mid to latter parts of the month, blackberry winter would start, because that's when the blackberries bloom. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. It just means that if you have a cold snap during that time, that's what it's called.
Huh. That's interesting.
You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that. Now, what you said, a locust winter? Like locust as in the bugs? The insects?
It's the locust tree, the black locust and the honey locust. Those are they're prized trees because of their wood. You know, they have kind of a blonde-colored wood in them, and so a lot of furniture makers really prize them. But boy, they've got some thorns that at times have been used as nails in the olden days, but so I'm not too hot on the thorny trees like that. But it does have its purpose for being here.
You talk about the white flowers coming up. I was thinking the other day as I was running down my road, there's a lot of honeysuckle out right now.
Right.
And that smell, that honeysuckle smell always reminds me of my kids because they, used to love to eat the honeysuckle. And I always, I always let them, but I'm like, ew, no, you don't know what's been in there. But they always.
Dang, girl, you just don't know what's good no more, do you?
Oh, no. I know.
My
son used to always tell me, if they're 6 years apart, my kids are 6 years apart, and, my daughter would be, I don't know, getting in the dirt and doing something, and I'd, be like trying to stop her, clean her up or whatever, and he'd be like, oh, Mom, a little dirt won't hurt. She'll be fine.
Well, that's right. I'm kind of a believer that you can be too sanitary and cause your body not to have the resistance that it normally would if it doesn't have a chance to build any up.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I'm there. Like I said, I let them eat the honeysuckle. I personally don't. It wasn't my thing. I'm always picturing a dog peeing on it or something. I don't know. I don't want to go there.
Kind of high up for a dog to pee.
Yeah, well, I know, but still. Anyway, that's just the first.
Goodness.
That's my go-to. But yeah,
What
so
a
the
city
honeysuckle,
girl
I
you
love
are.
I know, right? But I love the honeysuckle. I do love the smell, and it always brings me back to when my kids were small.
Right. Honeysuckle and catching lightning bugs and walking on dirt roads barefoot with the dust coming up between your toes and all that
Now,
kind of
dirt
stuff.
roads I can handle barefoot, but I can't walk on the rocks barefoot. I'm too tender-footed for that.
Well, I know. It's all in what you get used to, though. If you went barefoot all the time, you wouldn't have any problems. But, yeah, I'm the same way. I got to have some shoes while I walk on rocks.
Even when I was a kid, I was like that. I didn't have tough feet. And then I would step on the honeybees. So, yeah, I didn't go barefoot very much.
I'm actually seeing a few more honeybees this year than what we've been seeing. I'm grateful for that because, the honeybee population has been way down recently up until now. And it does look like just maybe, they're making a little bit of a comeback. Just from what I'm seeing out in the yard and around on bushes and things, there's a lot more honeybees than what there were last year. So I hope that's a trend that will continue because without the bees and pollinators, we would all starve to death, trust me.
Absolutely. And, a quick note, I had Chase Mitchell was in here a couple weeks ago. He is an apiary. They, take care of,
right.
They have bees and make the honey and all that stuff. And he told me something that I did not know. That those hives are full of female bees. There may be like 4 what they call drones, which are the male bees. And guess who does all the work?
The female bees.
Female bees. The female bees are the ones doing the work. Those 4 little drones just get to sit there, hang out, and their job, they have one job, and that is to keep the queen, to keep her, to keep the population. To keep the population going.
Go ahead and talk yourself into the corner. See if I can.
Yeah. So, I wasn't real happy. I wasn't shocked to find that out. I mean, the women do the work. Not a shock. But, yeah, I did not know that little fact. Did you know that?
Bees are they're very intelligent creatures. Yes, I did know that. I used to have a beehive of my own.
Did you now?
Yeah. But, after you deal with them a while, you can kind of tell what kind of mood they're in. You kind of get to know them. It's really strange.
They're females. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh, my goodness. Here we go. No, actually, I can tell when they're not in kind of a cantankerous mood and everything. And I remember the last time I saw them, I went out to check on them. And, boy, they were not happy campers. They were mad, and they swarmed at me and everything. Of course, I had protective stuff on. And then they just up and swarmed on me, left. So I guess they didn't like my hive or something. So
we are done with you.
Yeah, I was kind of heartbroken, but that's okay. They're probably out making honey somewhere else right now in some tree.
Oh. Well, Dave, you mentioned a little bit ago that Sunday the weather is going to be not so good in the morning, maybe a little better in the afternoon. And, of course, it's Mother's Day Sunday.
Yes, of course. we're going to have a pretty wet weekend. And of course, it's like I've always said, we know what follows 2 days of rain, and that's Monday, But yeah, Mother's Day is not looking the best in the world. Anytime you're celebrating your mother, it doesn't matter what kind of weather it is. It's always nice to be able to remember your mom, and for those of us who are still lucky to have our mom, that's a blessing. But they're not going to be around forever, so we take that day to try to celebrate their life and let them know how much we think of them. After all, they took care of us while we were growing up. The least we can do is try to show our appreciation for it.
And, I've told my kids, one day a year, there's only one day a year that I need to be pampered, and it is Mother's Day. That is my day. Now, this year, I told my kids I need the whole weekend. They kind of they kind of messed up over Christmas. They kind of put me on the back burner and shifted me around, and I said, okay, all right, y'all hurt my feelings, and you're going to make it up to me on Mother's Day. You're giving me the entire weekend. I want both of you, no plans. You don't get to do anything with anybody else. Your spouse can go to her mom's. You're coming with me. That is just the way this weekend is going. And I'm going to get presents, and I'm going to get dinner, and I'm going to get a cake, a real cake. And I told him, we're doing this. That's just the way it is, and then I will forgive you.
Cake and ice cream it is then. Yeah,
that's
sounds
right.
Nice, actually.
Yes, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward to it, and I don't care if it rains, because then I won't miss not being on my horse. That'd be better.
Of course not. That's right. Yeah, you gotta make sacrifices too. So
that's right.
You need to not be on your horse during Mother's Day. That would not be a good thing.
That's right.
But
the most important part, though, is that my kids are both spending the time with me. Like I get them for the weekend. They don't get to go. They don't. I don't get put on hold for friends. I don't get put on hold for my son is married, so I don't get put on hold for his wife or her family. It's all about us that weekend.
Well, I bet they're not arguing about that too much.
No, they didn't. They didn't. Well, they know better.
Because no,
they wouldn't win that argument.
Your mom. Good grief, woman.
That's right. They know better. They wouldn't have won that argument.
Well, Mother's Day has been around since 1908.
I did not know. So that was the first official Mother's Day, 1908.
Well, actually, there was a woman named Ann Jarvis, and her mother had died, and she was so heartbroken because they spent a lot of time together. So she held a memorial for her mother at St. Andrew's Methodist Church in Grafton, West Virginia. And so they started calling that the International Mother's Day Shrine, which the church, I guess, is still around. And but her campaign to make Mother's Day a recognized holiday actually began back in 1905. That was the year her mother died, and she had been some kind of an activist for quite some time. She helped care for wounded soldiers. Her mother did, that is, and so it was natural that they'd kind of honor her and try to celebrate a mother. And so in 1908, Congress first rejected a proposal to make Mother's Day an official holiday, saying they'd also have to proclaim a mother-in-law's day and all kinds of other stuff. Well, I can imagine that, but anyway. Mm-hmm. But because of Ann Jarvis, by 1911, all U.S. states observed the holiday, and some of them officially recognized Mother's Day as a local holiday. And the first of them was, of course, West Virginia, which was Jarvis's home state. But in 1914, it had become so popular that Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation designating Mother's Day to be held on the second Sunday in May as a national holiday to honor mothers. So that's how it all came into being. And, of course, then it went on to grow, and we started getting the Hallmark cards, which actually Mrs. Jarvis threatened to sue those companies because she said that people should appreciate and honor their mother through handwritten letters expressing their love and everything, instead of buying gifts and pre-made cards, which I kind of understand that.
Yeah. Well, and which, let me just add one thought to that. Now, your mom's going to tell you, all moms are going to say, all I want is to spend time with my kids. That's all I want for Mother's Day.
That's true.
We want that. That is the most important thing. But don't be fooled. We want gifts too. We do.
Well, of course. It's always not, mothers, you think back on some of the happiest times in life and the holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving. The center point around that a lot of times was your mom. She's the one that made it what it is. And, I remember used to that when I'd get ready to go to school when I was just a kid, I would just kind of, well, I don't know how to put this. Maybe I was, well, anyway, I'll tell you what happened. So I was getting ready to go to school, and as I was going out the door, she'd stop and say, "Hey, honey." And, of course, that'd stop me, and I'd turn around and say, "What?" And then she'd just say, "I love you."
Yeah.
And, of course, I just, at that time, at that age, I just kind of rolled my eyes and went on. But then I got to realizing it that secretly it became my favorite part of every day. Because it was so nice to feel that and hear that, and I knew that no matter where I went in life, that she would have my back. And well, this is one of those things you can get emotional about really quick. But like I said, mothers were always the foundation, and it was really nice to spend time with her. And I don't know, we all kind of become thumb suckers when it comes to mothers. You could be a full-grown guy, burly, and say in the military or something, but when it comes to mama, look out. You're
never too old, huh?
You become a child again,
That's right.
So,
well, and as a mom, and that's a good point that you make, no matter how old our kids get, no matter how grown they are or think they are, they're always, always, always going to be our babies. Just always.
Right.
I mean, that's just, and so for me, that's my experience anyway. I will always, always worry about my kids. There's never a moment that I don't think, why are you being so stupid? No, I don't think that all the time. But when they do stupid things, it worries me. When they make choices that aren't going to benefit them, it worries me.
Right.
I don't care how old they get. It's always going to worry me.
Well, and that's true. And again, that's why we celebrate Mother's Day. It is a time to just remember our mothers. Obviously, without them, we wouldn't be here. So, I mean, like I say, if you do nothing, if you're lucky enough to still have your mother, spend a little time with her. And if you don't, then of course, we always have warm memories that you can think back on and just remember your mom. And, there's always going to be better days ahead, so just keep on living your life, and you're doing just fine.
Yep. Dave, I was supposed to ask you a question, but I didn't see it early enough. We do have to wrap this up. Can you quickly tell me? Can you quickly tell me about the anniversary of the Southern Illinois windstorm, 70 to 90 mile per hour winds? Says it hit May the 8th, which is obviously today in Marion.
Would be if they're talking about if they're talking about the derecho that occurred at that time. Derecho is kind of like a hurricane over land. I do remember that day. I think Carbondale, if I'm not mistaken, measured wind speeds of 108 miles an hour, and that was just that was a pretty nasty day. I don't, you get a derecho about once every really 5 or 6 years. They're not that common, but when they do, they can do a lot of damage and affect a large area. And I, of course, I don't think we'll be looking at anything like that. We may be looking at a squall line tomorrow, but really the greatest threat appears to be damaging winds. So let's hope that we don't get anything to that extreme as it did back in those days.
Right. So not another, this May the 8th isn't going to end up like May the 8th of 2009.
No, I believe that's correct. And 2009, I believe that is when that occurred. I remember
that's what my source tells me.
Yeah, and I remember that well. So yes, that is a time to remember, because most of us have never experienced a full-blown derecho, and it's an interesting thing to see it. It's, like I said, it's like a hurricane over land. It's what it is. It even looks like that on radar.
Well, I know we'll be a week late, but maybe next week you can give me a little more information on a derecho.
I certainly will. I'll be glad to. And I'm going to be missing you, woman. I hate to see that you're not going to be with us too much longer, but that's all right. You're not dying or anything, of course.
I'm not dying or anything. No, I'm not. Just moving on.
That's right.
And, I'm going to miss it too. And we'll I still have one more week. So actually 1 week from today will be my last day. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to enjoy it while I'm here and not think about that it is coming to an end, because I'm having some emotions. I'm feeling the feels about it. So,
And that's the way you should be. So try not to cry whenever you say goodbye to me.
I know.
That's okay.
I know. That's what I thought. It might be a bad choice that you are my last guest of the day for that on my last day, Dave.
I'm going to try to make you feel as bad as I can.
Yeah, that's what I thought you would do. Dave, we are going to have to wrap up for today, but we will end next week, and I think we're going to have a pretty interesting topic next week, right?
Oh, yes. We're going to talk about Draco. Then we're going to talk about the beast of LBL. I've been promising.
You've been telling me we're going to talk about it. So what more appropriate day to do it than next
Be sure and tune in on that
Wednesday.
one.
That's right. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate your time.
Okay, Misty. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. That is weather forecaster Dave Powell. I always enjoy talking to him. He has such good things to talk about. But right now, we have a guest waiting for our next visit on Coffee Talk. We're going to talk about something that I know very little about, ham radios. We'll be right back.
I was driving in my car and I smelled a number 5 with fries.